going to be the first. This is going to be the first episode of us talking about bandish stuff. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ben has the first question. You want to ask the first question, Ben?
I most certainly do, my friends. What Australian musician has influenced or shaped you, and why?
Musician or musicians?
Either. Could be a band. Could be just a musician. Could be a band.
That's a good
I reckon
question.
Rory should go first.
It has shaped you. I've probably only got really one that comes to mind, like off the top of my head, and that's that'd be Cygnus, the bass player who used to play for Neil Liverskar. Brennan's housemate Jono showed me him, and he had like this Cygnus fella had a YouTube channel where he had just like all these sick videos, and that dude's just like one of them like practices 2-3 hours a day every day type of dude, and he was just crazy. So it was always kind of a bit of inspiration to be like, fuck, maybe I could be just like a little bit like that, just a little bit. Probably, I'm not going to practice that much. That's a bit hectic, but you can see what was achievable. But yeah, that dude is a fucking beast.
Oh,
that's
man.
Probably the one that comes to mind. So, yeah.
That's good. I reckon Brendan can go next.
All right. Mine's going to be a bit long-winded.
That's good.
It goes back to the 90s, I guess. So what shaped me in my playing as an Australian artist would be Magic Dirt, would be a big one.
Good old Magic Dirt.
Magic Dirt. I was right into them. And also seeing this band called The Nation Blue for the first time in Ballarat, 2001. That's when I started a band with a mate, because we were like, holy fuck, these guys are just playing stuff they want to play. This is, and it's like, if you listen to The Nation Blue, and I totally recommend you do it, it's not like music you've heard before. How can I describe it? It's rock, it's raw, it's crazy. So
did it inspire you because at a certain point in your life and you saw it? Like, because I was part of my answer as well. It's like a moment in time that you see a band and it really kind of influences you. Was that sort of experience with that?
Yeah,
seeing them?
Magic Dirt's probably that band.
Yeah.
Who did that? Because again, that's the music they were playing back then, like around 90s to 2000, was very much. This isn't doing it justice, but it's sort of off the back of Nirvana and kind of what Nirvana did to music, how it sort of took the shackles off bands and let people just be what they wanted to be. They didn't have to play solos and practice in their bedrooms for 25 hours a day. They could just pick up the guitar, play it in the shed with their mate, and play whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
And that's kind of off that. Moving to current day, I'll go from 2000 to now. Otherwise, we'd be here all night. The Australian bands, a lot of the bands that we play with. Well, actually, I'll go back a little bit. I Have the Enemy. I got shown them before I got back into metal by Jono, housemate, and it was just like, wow, there's Australian bands playing metal this quality. It blew my mind. And then as we started Fall and Resist, as we got to see, as I got to get more exposed to Australian bands, it's like, we have some top talent here. There's some good stuff. So if I can name a few of those, one would be, I can't think of the name. How's that? Hadelmore. Fucking hell. How could I forget that? So Hadelmore to me is up there. Very, very high up there. Just in terms of their instrumentship, the quality of their playing.
Yeah,
crazy.
The quality of playing.
Yeah, musicianship,
That's I'll leave it at that. That's me.
That's good.
So all the bands
Love
we
it.
play with, like even to I Am Duck Eye, like
Yeah.
those guys,
Yeah.
they just inspire you in different ways. I Am Duck Eye inspire me to be myself. Hadelmore inspire me to be better at what I do playing. Blunt Shovel inspire me to not take shit too seriously. You know?
Yeah.
So many bands just have their things. It's awesome. That's it. Me done.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you want
Yeah,
me to
you,
do?
Frosty. Yeah.
It's difficult because most of my Rory keeps dropping in and out. What's going on there?
It's great. It's
Very
great.
Oh, I'm trying to find somewhere comfortable.
So fucking distracting.
Sorry. Keep going, mate. Don't worry about it.
Look, it's difficult because I grew up. I mean, I had my brother who was very much into metal and all those sorts of things, and then I sort of got into metal because of him. And I sort of followed the bands that he had around, like that he formed, and then we were in a band for a little while and things like that. But in terms of influence, it was always whatever I listened to. It wasn't the Australian scene as much. Like when you listen to any of them sort of melodic death stuff from anywhere in Europe, and then you listen to Fall and Resist, you see so much of the similarities and so much of the influences there. And I'd be able to say, when I was growing up, that was the stuff that spoke to me. Like the first time I listened to Dark Tranquillity, I flipped my shit. Like I couldn't believe it. I just went, holy crap. How can anybody do this? And of course, I mean, because the difference was that's where it was born. Like it wasn't like melodic death was all over the world. Like it was born in Scandinavia, and so it's kind of like, I don't know, listening to Ozzy Osbourne, and then because Ozzy Osbourne was sort of like, people say, well, Black Sabbath was like the first metal band because it was the first dark example, not like Led Zeppelin, it was the first dark example. So it's like saying, I listened to all these bands afterwards, and not talking about Black Sabbath. To me, Dark Tranquillity was my Black Sabbath. Like that was, the thing that I gravitated to and stuck with. And everything that I had written and everything that I would look at from then on was compared to them. And it still is, So vocally, I'm really influenced by McAlstain because of that. But, there's a whole heap of Aussie vocalists and Aussie guitarists that I absolutely adore, and I think they're brilliant. Like, Sean from In Malice's Wake, love his voice, and there's heaps, Sam Hadelmore, and there's heaps of voices that I think are really, really cool and really different. And I really like the Australian Bark.
Yeah.
Guitarist wise, there's what's his name? Lee, who plays in like 8 bands now. He's in Harlot now as well, I think, and in Malice's Wake. Lee Bartley.
Oh yeah, Lee. Yeah, I've got a funny story about Lee. Yeah.
Oh, watch him play. Holy shit.
So natural.
He got such clarity, man. Such clarity. Den's amazing too. Dennis, he's a really, really good guitarist as well. But
Espionage.
Yeah. No, I love his playing ability as well. Rick Grimm, if you watch him solo, he's insane.
Yeah.
Really
clear. When he does his busking.
Yes, he just kills it. You know what I love about that? He's just standing there, he's shredding like crazy.
I know, it's amazing.
Nothing. No backing track. He's just playing Megadeth.
I remember he was doing. Me and Emma were in line for 12-Foot Ninja, and he was busking off the side of the street. You could hear it. It was amazing. He was just like shredding.
He's so good. and that's there's so many great guitarists out there that I find really inspiring. But I really like that technicality. You know what I mean? I like that precision playing. I don't think I'd ever. Well, no, I probably could get to that level, but I don't have the time. I don't have to dedicate. It's a lot of work. A couple of solos here and there, that'll do it.
You get it, mate.
That's my long-winded response.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Oh, mine's pretty long and long-winded as well. But I put it into 2. I put it into shape and put it into guys that make you, that push you. Ones that you see You go, oh, you know, fucking he's amazing, and it makes you push to be better.
Mm.
But my ones that influenced me would be my drum teacher, which was Mark Charters. So when I started Institute of Music, he was one from Queensland, but he came to Sydney. But he was doing like the Mamma Mia show.
Oh, yeah.
So he had like a 6-month contract or a year contract doing that in Sydney. And that was just like doing 3 or 4 shows or more a week, and then doing schooling or high school. And he was amazing. So he taught me like technique. He taught me my theory side of things. So he was a big one. And then music-wise, I got Dan Brown from Song Lotto. So when when Between Birth and Death came out, I was at schoolies and I heard that album, but I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to buy it. So yeah, that was like a big one. And from that, I was just like, always listen to that. Like Burning Bridges was my favorite song to play off that album.
Yeah.
And sort of I think it was really good. Like he was so solid. And like he just sort of progressed from like the first EP or album onto that one. It was like really, really good and really inspiring. Then I have, this is a bit like Nick Peterson from North Lane, especially that Discoveries album. That was really good drum wise. Like that whole album sounded really amazing, but the drums especially were like, they were really top notch. And Nick is, especially some of the Bell stuff in our first EP. Was inspired by Nick Peterson because I was really listening to that North Lane stuff at that time. And kind of that Bell stuff that I did in the EP kind of come from him. Then you've got Daniel Luddick from, remember guys heard Synthetic Breed?
No.
So this drummer Daniel, he's like a mini Virgil Donati, like because Virgil's from Melbourne, and I think Daniel's gotten lessons off him. Like I'll send a link later, but we played with them when I was with Hell itself in Sydney, and me and the guitarist were just like watching him. He was just like, the whole band's unreal, but the drummer is just like, it's so amazing. And technical wise, is just fucking brilliant. Like for an Aussie dude, and and Virgil's amazing as well. But like, you know, that's another musician. You know, he's just amazing. And then
it's a Virgil Donati.
Huh?
Like a VHS instructional tape from back in the Christ knows when days.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Virgil's awesome. He's made it huge like overseas, but you wouldn't know that he come from Australia. You know what I mean? Like,
he's big time in the scene.
Yeah. And then so they're the ones that probably influenced me a lot in my playing. They're the ones that push. They're the ones that we've played with. Like, you know, you got Dave from Blunt Shovel. You got Rob from Hadel. Who else I got? Dean Kennedy from Damnation's Day. Dan Haley, Psychroptic. Got Robin Stone from The Amenter, and he does a lot of other stuff. Even dudes from back in the day that I used to, when I was in like Darker Half and Hell itself, you had like Graham Good from Infernal Method. Guys in Infernal Method, they were fucking amazing. Luke Cook. There was another one that played with, remember Mortal Sin? So Mortal Sin were around for a while, and then they kind of had a bit of a comeback in like the late 2000s. And Luke was playing with them, and he was another good guy as well. They like such a nice guy, but a really good player. But I could go on for ages, you know. Like there's just so many good Aussie drummers, and all musos especially. But another one that's what I was looking here. Remember Lucius Boric from Cog? Cog was another amazing band. He was a really good drummer. Like, you know, that song, what is that song? 101001 and Bondi. They had some really cool beats in it and things like that. But I could go on for ages, man. Like as I said, there's Aussie drumming scene's pretty fucking amazing. And it's really good. You know, it always pushes you every time you go and see a band live. It's always, you can always go, that drummer's good and kind of go, he's good in that way. Or you can always see a good side of everybody. You know what I mean? Everyone really fucking, it's hard, you know. It's always, you got to gig, fuck, who's going to be playing now, you know? Shit, you know? Got to get prepared. But anyway, well, that's mine. So, but yeah.
You know what drummer always, every time we play with him, he blows me away. He's simplistic but sort of complex at the same time. But Sean from I Am Duck Eye.
Yeah, dude. I should have said Sean. It's not simple. It's not simplistic. It is hard stuff because he's playing the song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's like, and he fits the drums for the song.
Yeah,
and
he does.
The way his technical ability and the way he hits is amazing. You know, it's just the way like, he hits. You know,
you literally every time I just stand there with a mouth open. I can't. There's something about him. It's just
so tight.
He's just so mesmerizing.
He reminds you of like a Morgan Rose. Like
Yeah,
Seven Dust.
yeah.
Kind of
Yep.
reminds you about like that.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just really solid.
Yeah.
But that comes like with maturity. Like, you know, he's an older sort
Yeah.
of bloke too.
Yeah.
And that sort of stuff comes with maturity, especially with musicians, you know.
I find that too. I mean, speaking of ones that sort of like musicians that make you sort of stand there and just go, "Holy shit, these guys are amazing." Dreadnought, like watching Greg on stage. Every time I've seen him perform and yell and everything, I just wow. And you know, the funny thing about it is, and I've had this conversation with Greg before. The funny thing about it is I'm much more of a screamer. I much prefer music where they're screaming. I don't mind some clean, but generally screaming is what I look for. But I still rank him as one of the best vocalists I've ever seen live. Like I see, and he doesn't scream. He kind of just, again, he just barks. Like that's just how he does it, you know. And in Australia, you'd be hard pressed to actually find a vocalist better than him.
Australia's got the best
purity thing.
Yeah,
he's got so many years under his belt of just doing it and doing it well, and what he pulls up on stage, it's better than the album sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It is insanely. It is, and I think that's the thing. This is what the Seans and the Gregs and those sorts of people have in common, that they just get lost in what they're doing. You know, they're not thinking about what's my next, note or whatever. What's the lyrics here? I don't remember. They're just completely lost in the moment. It's great. Richie's like that though too. The guitarist from Dreadnought, he's the same.
Oh.
He gets lost in it as well, and he's freaking amazing to watch. You know,
3 minutes, Dreadnought, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, Dreadnought. Oh, you got to tell that story now.
Oh, yeah. Well, what blister was it?
I think it was. It was the night before. I think it was the night before because I think it was in Ballarat, wasn't it?
No, I remember it being. What was that place? I think it was the second. I think it was a blister.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I remember. It was. Yeah, I think it was. Anyway, I think all this.
We had them for Beyond Black as well.
I think it was definitely blister because we had to meet that deadline because we had all the bands. Yeah. So I was just like, were they playing last, or there was another band after them anyway?
I think it was last, and there was noise restrictions, which makes me think it was the Eastern.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but so the Rev was like that though too, but I don't think we ever had.
No, I think it was the Rev.
Was it?
No, I'm pretty sure.
But anyway, I basically told Dreadnought they had 3 minutes before we fucking kicked them off. This is bluntly, this is what I put it. I was really polite about it. I was like, 3 minutes, Dreadnought, 3 minutes.
Oh, good night.
That was a good note.
That was good.